Minister, I just want to say how disappointed I am that there is not a minister in relation to the health portfolio here. I think it's not acceptable. I think we should have been notified before the debate itself. I just don't think it's acceptable. And I'm not blaming you personally, but I don't think you should be in this position. But we should have been told in advance that there is not going to be a minister, because it makes kind of a bit of a mockery of the debate, really. I mean, it's empty as it is. But if you're not a minister for the brief or the department, it's a bit demoralising, to say the least. But I'll soldier on, because it's a very, very important issue in relation to a two-tier health system in this country that we've had for decades. And there was a glimpse of what could be, that should be, was during the pandemic. And in the pandemic, we saw something that hasn't happened for a long, long time in this country, where there was no such thing as a two-tier health system. How could a two-tier health system exist when you're up against a pandemic? And the state, took over 19 hospitals at huge expense in relation to the vast amount of money that go into private healthcare. So we've seen a glimpse what could happen. And I believe the vast majority of people in Ireland would actually agree that we need a one-tier health system, a universal health system. But we have a kind of a system that is a two-tier system. And once you have private healthcare competing against public healthcare, and once you have that kind of narrative that people will say to themselves, well, if I can have private health insurance, I can get better care. Once you have that system in place, there's going to be inequalities. Once you put that system in place, then you will have the terrible inequalities where it happens on a daily basis. Because, as a parent, I mean, obviously, there's many people that have worked all their lives, and ideologically they will not buy private health insurance. I know people that just won't, out of the basis that a solidarity with their other working people. Why? They pay taxes, yet they're kind of second-tier citizens when it comes to healthcare, and I just think that's a wrong system. And I'm sure you agree with universal healthcare. Everybody seems to agree with it, but doesn't seem to do anything about it. Now, Sláintecare is, I mean, it's not perfect by any means. It's trying to address some of the kind of inequalities, but that even has its kind of shortcomings. And I think universal healthcare, Minister, we've seen across the world, different European countries, where outcomes are much better for everybody, whether you're on social welfare or a millionaire. The outcomes for health, mental health, physical health, health of the country are better. That's proven correctly. But once you have a system where 50% or more actually rely on private health insurance, then you're going to have a system of inequality, where you're going to have a system of hierarchy, and when you're going to have a system of, we don't have confidence in our public health service. And that's not to say, our public health service. I worked in the public health service. I can say that once you're in the public health service in this country, it's brilliant. The people that are in it are absolutely incredible, from the whole range of jobs that are in it. But once you get into the system, it's really good, and everybody will tell you that, and that's a good thing. But the resources that go towards private healthcare, which are vast, should not be happening, and we need to kind of get away from the model of a two-tier system. So look, I'm probably repeating myself in relation to this mantra, and where all this will end, Minister, I think, as I said, Sláintecare is trying to address some of them inequalities. I'm not sure about that as a model. As I said, it has its shortcomings, to say the least. But I think the government, successive governments and this government still promote the idea of private healthcare and stealth private healthcare. And once that exists in any societies, you will have inequalities. We have it in education, we have it in the economical system that we have. And that is compounded by successive governments. They allow that to happen, and once you allow that to happen, there will be a them and us. There will be a them and us. And, you know, when you have that system, people will suffer, people will die, and people will go out, you know. It's pretty heart-wrenching when you see somebody that's worked all their life, they paid all the taxes, they've done everything right, and then left being on a trolley for 3 days. I swear to God, no, sir, if it was any other country, there would have been a revolution. There will be a revolution, because it's just not acceptable. People paying all them taxes and looking for the time of need, literally on the time of need when they need help, told you have to wait in the corridor for 3 days. Not acceptable. It's absolutely not acceptable. And that's why, you know, ideologically, as people for profit, we're against a two-tier health system. We need the universal health care. Just look at the NHS. Is not perfect by any means, right? But the NHS is, you know, is revered in Britain. It's revered even more than the royal family. It's revered, you know, because the NHS does one thing. It's a national health system. From cradle to grave, you know, generally it will look after you. Now, you know, British society, you know, it's not the most, I mean, there's obviously very progressive elements of it, but obviously the Tory party have been there for a long, long time. They're not the beacon of progress and beacon of socialism, but the NHS is a great model. It's a model that, you know, we should try to copy, because once you have a system that's based on equality, you will have a better system for everybody, regardless of what you earn. Thank you.